debut for Sha Tin on Saturday. There's a jackpot in the TT and a jackpot in the 6-up. It's a mixed meeting on the turf and the all-weather track. Difficult races, now made even, well, far more difficult by the fact that it hasn't stopped raining for 2 days. The tracks have been downgraded. Even the all-weather track has now been marked as slow, and when they do that, it's a complete and utter quagmire there. So the turf's been marked yielding, which is effectively slow, but it's still raining. It hasn't stopped for virtually a day and a half, so the tracks are virtually heavy. The big problem you've got now, of course, and we've got to negotiate, is the fact that about 98% of these horses have never ever been on rain-affected going. So there's a fair bit that needs to be negotiated through to give us a winning chance. The jackpots are big enough to warrant us playing and taking the risk that we get it right. But like I said, when virtually every horse racing on the day has hardly ever seen a wet track, it's not going to be easy. There are, in one of the legs, there are 2 that have been on it in New Zealand and have performed terrific on it, so they may well be a double banker in race 6 and could be a chance there to give us a bit of width in the other legs. Going through the card, as I say, be very careful now with the track conditions the way they are. It's a completely different ball game. Looking at race 1, we've seen all these plenty of times. Sledgehammer now, this has been working well and trialling well. Now, it's got absolutely no form, but the one thing it has got in its favour, it's had 2 starts on a wet track and won. So that's a plus. Should be a price, this one, with duck eggs next to it all over the place. Massive, it's another one that comes into the same category. It's been working well and raced a couple of times much better than its form may indicate, and it's another one that its only win overseas was on rain-affected going, so there might be a bit of a flukish chance in the first race with number 6 and number 8 if they're a price. It certainly wouldn't be taken less than 20 to 1, either of them, with the form that they've got. But if they're big prices, you're entitled to throw something on them. Parley goes all right on this surface, and of the rest, Gold Weaver, Jolly Good, Fiery Raider, Croatia. They've all been running around for a while. We know them. None of them are any good. So on the value line, 8 and 6 bracketed at a price from 2, 11, 5, 3 and 4. We go to race 2. You and me, drawn well. Never been on rain-affected going, so difficult to gauge that. Most of this field has never seen it, so you are betting a little bit on spec here. I've got 5 on top from 3, New, Supreme. Was a bit unlucky a couple of runs ago. So a bit unlucky again last start. So from barrier 4 with Bowman on it, maybe a little bit of luck goes its way. Diamond Start, it's got a chance in a race like this. At least it's performed reasonable on rain-affected going in the past. And La Côte de Bleu keeps working well and trialling well, but doesn't produce it on race day. If it happens to produce it on race day tomorrow, it might fall into a place in a race like this. 5 on top from 3 and 13, chances to 6, 8, 4. Race 3's got unraced, so we're not interested there. We go to race 4, the opening leg of the TT. There's probably 8 or 9 that I've left in. I've got Namjong Blossom on top by virtue of the fact that I think it's going to lead, and it looks the only leader in the race. Now, if that's the case on the dirt, there's a good chance it'll start throwing up a bit of mud behind it, and that's where you want to be. You want to be in front on this mud track. They don't like the horses. The mud gets thrown up in their eyes, and they do shy a little bit, so I'd rather be on something near the lead. I think this will lead even despite 11. It'll come across. He's taken it to the all-weather track and trialled very, very well. And I think it'll handle this no problem. 6, Great Pegasus will be giving them a bit of a start. They're charging home. Medic Kingdom should be able to hold up somewhere reasonable from barrier 3. Must go in. Then there's a few that have trialled well on the all-weather track coming back into this type of race. And they include number 8, Real Champion. Number 2, Loads of Joy, which is probably the best dirt tracker in the race. So it must go in, especially from the good draw. Whistleblower, interesting one. Started well in the market in all its runs at Sha Tin over the 1,000. The problem was it drew the wrong side of the track in all of them, and yet it was still starting favourite or second favourite when it was drawing the inside draw, which is no good. Trialled well. He's another one that he's taken to the all-weather. Now, he's never ever taken it onto the all-weather before. This is the first time he jumped straight to the front and bolted in. So it's an interesting one. And, of course, Confucius lead, Fair Wind, World City. I finished up 4 on top from 6, 1, 8, 2. Chances to 7, 10, 11 and 3. As you can see, extremely difficult race. We go to race 5. Hartwood. This looks the only front runner in the race. If you can get it across very quickly and go straight to the front, they're going to leave it alone. It's had 12 goes on dead slow for 3 wins and a placing. That's way better than anything else in this race. You have to consider this as an anchor, purely and simply because it's going to lead and it'll handle the wet track. Star Majestic, it's been working well. Track work the other morning was good enough to indicate that it's ready to win. Barrier 14, absolutely no help, although, well, under normal circumstances, but I'll qualify that by saying with the rain affected track, I think they're going to be heading out wide anyway, so it's probably not as big a disadvantage. Vara Pearl, it's consistent enough. It's knocking on the door. And then behind that, you've got probably Elaine Funstar, which will handle the sting out of the ground. Glacier Blue's got a chance. Furio, chance. Good Fit's an interesting one. He took it, missed the start badly first up, then ran on strongly late, beaten 3 lengths. He's taken to the trial since it's trialled well, so he could improve at a price. Grand Plus, another one that's got no form, but suddenly they decided to take it to the all-weather track for the trials, and it's gone well. Record again. So I finished up 7 on top from 4, 6, 3, 2, 1, 5, 9. Race 6, the last leg there. How Speedy handles this going. It's probably the best performed in it. I think barrier 13, no great disadvantage to it because he goes back anyway. So hopefully he'll be 2 and 3 wide with cover and just wait. Teton riding very well. Happy to be having him. I think it's the banker, and the double banker with it is Lucky Dan. Now this definitely handles the wet ground, and from barrier 5 should get a nice run. So we should have one up closer to the speed and one charging home. I'm happy to be going into the last with these 2 double banking. They're not locks by any stretch of the imagination, but going through this field and trying to find a wet tracker was not easy. And these 2 appear to be the best performed wet trackers in the race. So I'll bracket 3, 5 in race 6. Chances to 4, 7, 8, 11, 1, 2. We go to race 7. My Little Friend's drawn the right side. Good trial, and I think it's ready to go. It's won on a wet track, so that's a plus. Pure Force never runs a bad race here down the straight. It'll be up near the lead, which is where you want to be. Must go in. Fantastico's drawn the right side of the track to be right in the finish. Tommy Berry, he rides well enough up here, so there's no danger there. And of the rest, Dane Patrol, the gangster, he's out there in the right draw. Triumphant Jewel, Charity Kingdom, Windful Patrol. Tough race. Just whoever gets the luck out wide and gets the clear running, going to be hard to beat. 1 on top from 5 and 13, chances to 9, 10, 12, 4. We go to race 8. This race, I don't think there's an awful lot of chances. I've got Rumba King on top. This goes best on this surface. Has one on the wet ground here on this surface. That's a plus. Drawn barrier 1. Should be right up on the speed. It goes in as one of the main chances. So here's the Love, handles this surface terrific. Wet ground we don't know, but Teton, he should get a decent run with this. He was a bit unlucky last start. He found trouble 2 or 3 times, and that cost him. With a better ride here, I think it's the one to beat. Danewin Tiger must go in. Goes good here, track and distance. Double Glory probably looks best of the rest with Able Warrior. I think this is not an overly difficult race. I mean, Ovet's in there, which we got the money with last time, but I think we were a bit fortuitous there. When the horse broke down and left us in front, it was going to go straight past us. I don't think there's much doubt about that. So, and I think there's too much speed here for it. Master Coach Wong, I suppose we could include it as a minor chance. But one on top from 2 and 8, chances to 7, 5, 4, and 3. The last race, race 9, full talent, racing really well. This horse won at 150 to 1 its first start, but it's gone on with it since then. I think it's got some upside. If it handles the wet ground, it'll win. Beauty Journey, Watch You Dream, look, the next couple that are probably going to provide a bit of danger. Then behind it, I give number 10, Bespoke Collars, and number 5, Masquerader, good chances. Masquerader's an interesting one. Handles the wet ground, finally drawn a marble. Maybe can get up on the speed, could even lead this if he wanted to. I've got 4 on top as the best chance. Then I've sort of bracketed 7, 6, 10 and 5 as probably the only other chances in the race. There are a couple that have trialled well. Health-wise is an interesting one. This has got absolutely no form, but gee, the trial was good, and it's had 7 starts on rain-affected going for its only 2 wins. So it could be one that we may have to consider throwing into the mix at a big price, and I don't mind doing that. So 4 on top, chances to 6, 7, 10, 5, 8. We go to the last. I think this is where we've got the one we can anchor. I think number 2, Cabayan. It was given a nice trial, and it's ready to go in this. I've got it banked clearly on top. It's had 6 goes on dead ground for 5 in the money. Goes good this track and distance. It'll give them a start, but it'll be charging late, and I think it can win this. Tableau is the danger for me. This has had a trainer change, significant trainer change for me too, because this guy, when he gets them off someone else, the first 1 or 2 runs for him are usually very, very good. Nice trial. It was red hot, and I think this is ready to go. This has had 4 goes on rain affected going, never missed a place, so must go in. And the other main 2 chances that I think, they're actually the 2. I'm leaning to bracket these 2 in the last leg. And then I've given sort of secondary chances to 11, Shishwan Bigger, 7, Travel Brother, although it might be a touch short, and 5, Dr. Good Habit. I think the winner's there, but I've got Cabayan on top, just ahead of Tableau, and then bracket the 11, 7 and 5. As you can see, very, very tough meeting. The wet ground. We are in the lap of the gods here. You know, we will dissect these as best we can, and hopefully we find the right wet trackers or find something that we think can handle the wet ground. We're leaning to horses that I think are going to be up on the speed. I think it's going to be an advantage, especially as the track cuts up on the speed and then angle out to the middle of the track. I think that's what they need to do. Good luck to everybody tomorrow. I'll be doing an Aussie preview shortly, and I'll put that up as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and good punting on the weekend.